Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movies.
All right, we're live. We're back. Here we are. And action.
I can't remember the last time we were this consistent with a pod. This feels like the old days.
You're blowing it. You're blowing it already. I'm already like this. I'm out. Yeah, this is great. Well, I don't know. This is exciting. I just did a podcast, and I've been podcasting down here for 3.5 hours straight. So
yeah,
you're going to have to carry this one. No one wants to hear that. And no politics. You keep ruffling all the feathers.
I'm sorry.
The fuck?
I'm sorry.
I ended up in another 17-comment fucking fight because of you.
I didn't realize saying it's wrong to be anti-Semitic is so controversial, but apparently
no, this one was the Trump one. You talking about Trump,
one?
you fucking ass.
Oh, those people can suck my dick.
I love Trump. Trump 2024. Whatever. Jesus Christ. Movies only. We're talking about movies.
All right, fine.
We're talking about fucking American masterpieces like The Killer.
All right. Yeah, we're going to talk about The Killer today.
Hey, can I bounce an idea off you?
Yeah.
I was watching The Killing. I keep saying The Killing. Now, that's a picture.
The Kubrick movie.
Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? I've never seen it.
What?
I've never seen it. I got to see it. I don't know. It's a bit of blind spot.
It's like his best movie.
It's his best movie?
It's his most digestible, fun. I love it. And you can really see the beginnings of Kubrick. There's some great cinematography, and it's Reservoir Dogs, ripped it off, of course.
Also,
and
Dark
Jackie
Knight.
Brown.
I saw a part of where they're wearing clown masks. It's like the exact clown mask from the Dark Knight. I was at the Kubrick Museum.
Yes.
So that's like a straight homage. I got to see it. I've never seen it. Yeah.
Oh, it rules. It's great. It's 90 minutes. It's like a zippy Kubrick.
I will see anything for 90 minutes. Rape, torture, porn, whatever. Like if it's an hour and a half, I'm there.
Will you watch a cut of the Tom Dustin documentary?
Yeah. Is it under an hour and a half?
It's a little over.
I'll watch an hour and a half of it.
But it's a
Make
beautiful
me an hour and a half
film.
one. Yeah, of course I'll watch it. Yeah. Is it all that's done?
I think it's a beautiful film. Yeah, we're down to, we're pretty close, and we're trying to get John Prine souvenirs. We're in negotiation.
You're going to get John Prine souvenirs?
You're damn right I am.
How much money are you going to pay for that?
I'd rather not say.
Really?
Well, we're working on it.
Wow.
But his people have been very, very nice.
Really? Wow.
Because he's not Madonna. He's John Prine.
I don't know. I guess. I mean, like, he's still like the top 5 greatest singer-songwriters of all time.
To be fair, they haven't given us a number yet. So in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be nice. But they asked the budget of the movie. They're like, well, what's the budget of the movie? And I'm like, $12,000. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. So they're doing it based on the budget.
They seem to be. So they seem to be, we're working. Wheels are in motion.
If I made a short film and like just went to Dylan, but I was like, I spent 10 cents on it. Can you?
I don't know that Dylan's last night. I don't know because I think Louis paid.
I know what he paid.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, you're probably going to say because that's what you did.
I'm not going to say. I actually wasn't going to say.
This is my impression of Raanan. I'm like, and then a certain somebody took a trip to Mexico. You're like, oh, you talking about Susan? Because Susan went to Mexico. I'm like, how did you not pick up on the fucking clue?
I'm not. I'll tell you later, but I will say.
I know how much it was. What are you closer to Louis than me? Jesus, I know how much he paid. I wasn't going to say it, you fucking asshole.
If you do the calculation with Prine, I would say it's probably be around 7,000-8,000.
That much?
Yeah.
If it's that much, that would double the budget of the film. And we're not having him play it. We're having someone cover it, which is cheaper.
Oh,
so we just need the rights to it. Henry Phillips is going to play it.
Oh, do you even have to tell him that?
I think you do.
That's a whole
Raanan always showing his colors. Well, couldn't you just steal that?
Well, I thought you were talking about the song. You're like, oh, we're having someone whistle it during it.
Well, it's
like,
the song. It is his song.
Yeah, but now you're just giving him the writer credit. Yeah.
Of course.
All right, that should cut it in half. I'm saying 3,000.
Even now, I'm hoping for less, frankly.
What are you, 25 cents for this? I mean, it's like a
$1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah. How famous is the song really, though?
I mean, it's so hard. My perception, like that, to me, that's one of the great songs of all time. I have a whole...
Of course it is.
But other people are like, they don't... I have a whole false perspective of this, you know what I mean?
What percentage of people... I mean, if you went to a comedy show tonight and asked 100%, all the people, who is familiar with John Prine...
Maybe 30.
30%? Or 30 people?
30 people.
Well, out of how many? How big's the club?
100.
Clip it.
I think 30. I don't know. I mean...
30%, yes. And so then you have to be like, and then how many know who the song Souvenir? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I once read that Jacob Dylan's album, one of his albums, sold more than like all of Dylan's albums combined or something. I read something crazy like
That's
that.
incorrect.
I read that. Or no, maybe it was just that one of his albums sold more than any Dylan album ever.
Maybe the second Wallflowers album.
Yeah, sold more than any
Bringing
Dylan
Down
album
the
ever.
Horse, I think it's
So
called.
I'm like, I don't understand that. I mean, it's Bob Dylan.
Right.
Who the fuck? Yeah, but he sold more than.
Well, I'm assuming it's that second album by the Wallflowers, which had One Headlight and Sixth Avenue Heartache,
Yeah.
which was massive. And a great album, I might add.
All right, well, but just the idea that sold more than any Dylan, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's outrageous.
Yeah, some things are famous, but they don't make a lot of money. I don't know.
But also, it came out in the 90s as opposed to the 60s, where that many more people were buying CDs. It was a CD boom and all that shit.
Right.
So,
But, it's hard to say. Like, Scorsese made his movie. It seems like, not a lot of people saw it, right?
right.
It seems like everyone saw Oppenheimer. I don't know, But then I was like, Oppenheimer, I was like, that's big. It's huge. But then Barbie was twice Oppenheimer.
Twice?
Twice.
But they get men and women and kids. It's for children also.
Yeah, that's true. Once you put that R. What I saw the other day on a PG, it said PG for a movie. And when they say PG, they show the reason. It was like PG-13. They show the reason, like sex, violence, And
Yeah.
One of the things that listed as an adult thing was thematic material. Just the idea of there being a theme.
Right.
Made it like a little, like, I don't want my little kid to notice this movie has some kind of thematic connection.
But maybe the theme was,
It didn't say that, though.
sex
It's
leads to
interesting.
AIDS.
Yeah, well,
or
then
something.
just say sex leads to AIDS,
Oh, that's a name for a film. wait, let me pitch this idea. I started
pitch-
pitching the idea
sorry,
7 minutes
so
ago,
pitch
but
the
you never
idea.
saw The Killing, so it's tough. But I want to make a short called The Bombing. And it's like The Killing. There's a narrator, and then and it tells you haven't seen the movie.
I
so it's
saw the
tough.
opening a couple times.
But it's told from the perspective of several different people. It's a heist.
Yeah.
Told the movie would be the comedian, the bouncer, the bartender, and an audience member, and it's just intertwined, and it's black and white. And you go at 3:35 p.m. Joe looks at his notes and heads to the train.
Oh, for like a special or a movie? Or like, what is this?
Short, the bombing, and then I bomb.
Oh, then you bomb.
And then it's the
yeah,
bartender.
that's
The bartender shows. I should just pitch it to Lex because he's
That's funny.
listening.
Make it like a heist, kind of, but you bomb.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's funny.
The
I like
killing, the
that.
bombing. The problem is it's a total I keep doing this. I keep doing references to things that nobody cares about.
Well, then you
like I
won't
named
get
my
caught.
album this year's material after this year's model.
Oh,
the
what's
Elvis
that?
Costello album.
Oh, really?
And everyone was just like, what a pretentious asshole. He's putting out a new year.
I didn't think that was pretend. I thought that was very straightforward. I didn't realize it was a reference, though.
Well, because I never did the album cover because I never did the album.
Oh, well, look, I did Joke from the Underground. No one got that. That's a reference to Dostoevsky's Notes from the Underground.
Yeah, because you're just trying to fucking virtue signal how smart you are. Nobody knows that fucking stupid book or play or whatever bullshit. You like Russians. You're a fucking asshole.
It's funny. You have a weird thing. You like arty movies. Like, you like Persona. That's about as arty as they come, right?
Which one's Persona?
Persona, the Ingmar Bergman.
Oh,
movie.
Bergman. Yeah. I love.
But then
I love that
if I
movie.
bring up a poem, you're like, no homo. I don't get
Yeah,
it.
because I'm not a fucking homo.
But the Ingmar
Is that a poem?
No.
Yeah, Bergman's a movie maker. He's making movies.
It's
One's
like
a poem and one's a movie.
Like
One's a
film
play.
poem. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously, I'm into film. I'm
I
not
asked
into
if you
bullshit.
like Russian novelists once, and you're like, what do you think, I'm an asshole? But you
I
like
don't
artsy
think
shit.
that's crazy. I think to love Bergman is one of the geniuses of cinema, of
He's
course.
artsy as fuck.
And you're talking about a Russian novel from the 16th century.
I don't know. I mean, but anyway, let's talk about the movie we came here today to talk
The
about.
Killer.
The Killer on Netflix. I have mixed feelings about Fincher. Zodiac is like my favorite, one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
We're on board. We have similar feelings on
I
Fincher.
love Social Network, except for Justin Timberlake's a little
I don't
devilly
love-
in it. But
I
I
don't
like
love
it
it.
overall.
I don't think it's great.
If other movies can suck my dick. I mean, they have interesting parts, but and they're well made, but like Seven can blow me, Fight Club can blow me. What's the fucking...
We did a whole David Fincher. By the way, if you're getting upset and you want to hear us elaborate on this, go check out the David Fincher episode.
I personally think was David Fincher, and I wish someone could... I don't think every director has to always do the same thing, but I wish someone could tell David Fincher, look, you are the best when you take a very well-researched, almost journalistic script that actually has a lot of small details and use your kind of very amazing sensationalist directing to bring that to life. You are almost better bringing something small to life in a way. There are moments in Zodiac that are very small as a plot point, but his directing makes it so epic and intense. And I wish he just stuck with kind of like these like well-researched, fascinating, almost like documentary stories, because I think that works well with his kind of in-your-face visual style. But then he does these goofy-ass stories, and I'm just like, to me, it's not. I mean, it's just not. There's no depth to it.
Yes, this movie did lack depth, and Zodiac, we can always just talk about Zodiac. The last movie I watched before being a dad was Zodiac.
Really?
I mean, I've watched that movie probably 35 times.
I mean, it's the best.
An actual, full-on, straight-up masterpiece.
And there's so much depth and complicated stuff in it. And then this movie, I mean, I guess it's a little like Fight Club, but it has this nihilism that I find so simplistic, and also like, the opening is cool. Like the whole movie, first, I will say this. The movie's entertaining.
Oh, we're back to the killer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The movie's entertaining. It's beautifully lit. It looks awesome. You know what I mean? But that opening, which is cool suspense-wise, that narration is so corny. The fucking hitman who has the stats about how many babies are raped a year to show that life doesn't matter. And he's like, 42 million people die of coconuts falling on their head a year. So what matters if I kill one more person? It's just so cliched. I feel like they did that already in Tom Cruise and Collateral so much better. And did that corniness and that voiceover not like, I just found it like laughable.
Would it be okay if I talked during this too?
You told me to carry it.
So wait, who wrote this film? Do we know who wrote the film?
I think it's the guy who wrote Seven, who's pretentious as fuck.
Yes. Now this movie. Now I always have to preface. Am I saying that right?
Yeah,
preface?
you're saying it right. Yeah.
I know it's a joke.
Oh.
I always have to preface that
Preface.
so much of how you feel about a film comes into play of like when you saw it, how you saw it, where you saw it, the mood, who you're with, whatever. Now I went to Vegas and did some corporate gig, and I came back Sunday. I missed my son, and I have a baby that cries all night, and he hasn't slept, and we haven't watched. You don't feel like an adult. So I was like, Sunday night, Sarah had a friend in town. I was like, let's watch the new Fincher. It's on TV. And I'm not going to be able to go to the movies much.
Right.
So we sat, and the baby slept through 100% of it. So we sat and watched a movie. I ate dinner. So I just felt good and excited to watch an adult film. That sounds like a porn.
With the baby.
So I was, first of all, the credit sequence I hated.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was bad. I was like, this is really bad.
I thought I was watching a TV show. That was so bad.
It felt like a fucking CSI.
And I heard people say, like, ooh, David Fincher always was the opening. It's going to be all. And I watched it. I'm like, what is this? Mission Impossible from the 70s?
Well, the Zodiac credits are amazing.
Yeah. But this is like doo-doo-doo with a gun and money. It's like so stupid.
By the way, Zodiac opening credits, you could put the all-time opening credit sequence, which is its own art form.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the shot of Zodiac of the camera in the car and him coming right up to facing the camera from her POV, it's just like incredible. The suspension,
it's a perfect
song.
Film. Perfect film. Anyways, so the opening credit sequence, I hated, and I was like, I fucking hate this so much. I also have to say this real quick. I've had so many people message me and be like, can't wait to hear you eviscerate this fucking piece of shit. Can't wait for the killer episode. I hated it. I couldn't watch it. Matt Wayne, he was like, I found that unwatchable.
Yeah.
I'm a cuck asshole fucking douche, because that opening 35 minutes, I was all in. I was loving it. I love that whole opening sequence. I loved everything about it.
You got a kid now.
Yes.
So, which is great. But I feel like it now puts in a position where you're like, the kid was asleep for 2 hours. The movie's a masterpiece. Like it's crossing your wires a little. You know what I mean?
Possibly, and I haven't slept. I'm very sleepy. I'm all fucked up. But I really enjoyed the hell out of that opening. The narration didn't bother me. And I just thought, I'm all in. I could watch an hour and a half of that. I say this all the time with movies. I'm like, don't even give me a plot. Just let me watch this guy do these things. I like the tension of the fucking door open. I did have a funny observation that I wrote. He said, I think Popeye said it best. And then he says a quote, but then he never ends the Popeye quote. And it was funny to me, the idea that like, well, what did Popeye say all this?
Like the whole movie?
Because then he's like, if you strangle a man and kill him. And I was like, is this all Popeye? I legitimately was like, when did the Popeye quote end?
The last line is like, And that's the Popeye quote. Isn't it great?
That's how I felt. I was like, what is...
But okay, I know it was a moment of quiet. You got to see a movie, but you gotta agree, the voiceover shit. It'd be one thing, like in The Irishman, when they do voiceover him explaining the murders. It's kind of interesting because it's very matter of fact, but he's saying actual details. He's going, make sure to like go to the bathroom first before you shoot the guy's head off. It's like very creepy. Just on that level, if he was just saying actual, just concrete details, it would at least be creepy, but it's ruined by these fucking bad lines. He's like, survival of the fittest, whoever, what I am. That's like fucking bullshit. It's so corny.
It was a bit corny, but I guess I was enjoying the visuals, and I liked, maybe it's been done, but him watching little kids with the crosshairs, and he gets everyone lined up. You could kill everyone. It kind of speaks to the fragility of life. And also that anybody at any moment kind of thing. He has this power over them. He has a godlike thing going.
But what's his character? And then they I don't get his character. Like, he's like, yeah, nothing matters. 12-year-olds die of pancreatic cancer every 5 weeks, so I can shoot people, whatever fucking shit he says. But then you find out he has a girlfriend, which is like very confusing because he seems like he doesn't. And the whole thing is him getting revenge on this girlfriend that they've built no relationship about.
Right.
And also, in these kind of movies, you can't just beat up the girlfriend. You have to rape and murder her for the revenge to work.
I don't care for this kind of...
Well, I don't know about the rape, but you have to murder. Look at Gladiator. The whole family gets killed. His wife didn't just get slapped around.
And Braveheart.
And Braveheart. You don't just beat up the girlfriend. You kill the whole family. That's how revenge works.
Yeah, well, here, I'll get to what I really hate about the movie in a second. But first of all, it's still that opening sequence... Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But I really did love that opening 30 minutes. I guess I just was enjoying it. I liked the sights and the sounds and the visuals, and I liked the tension of him trying to assassinate the guy, and the woman moves in front. That was all very fun. I was on board. 25 minutes into this movie, I was like, hey, I like that. Because I agree with Fincher stuff. Like, I think all these movies are just kind of quite silly.
Yeah.
But Zodiac, I was like, well, this is now my second favorite Fincher film, and it might still be my second favorite Fincher film. And there was like a Godfather 2 scene when the person's coming in the WeWork and he's standing next to it. It was just like Bruno Kirby standing there. And that reminded me a lot of Godfather 2 and felt tense. And that was fun. I was enjoying it. I even enjoy when he fucked up and he throws everything away and gets on the bike and he's scooting through town.
The suspense is great. And I do think the movie's watchable. And he builds a lot of tension. That shot of the guy coming in is great. Because it's like he could have been killed in that 1 second. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. But the narration is just so... It would have been so much better without narration, which is like 80% of the movie. And he's not witty. That's the other problem. He constantly is trying to be funny and is not, which I don't get. Zodiac is like hilarious to me. But in this movie, he's like, that guy... He's definitely not Mossad. He's not Mossad. Definitely not Mensa either. It's like bad jokes.
Yeah, well, he doesn't... I think one of the problems is he doesn't feel quite psychotic enough. It's almost like he's not quite Anton Chigurh. You want Anton Chigurh.
It's not exactly.
This movie with Anton Chigurh, of course, from No Country for Old Men, that with his narration following him...
That would have been incredible.
That would be
now that... See, that's... And I do think Fincher, what he was interested in was the idea of having a hitman and making it all narration, so you're in his point of view, like Taxi Driver. But the narration didn't add anything to his character, and it just made it all corny. Like if they actually showed like a real sociopath. But it's just not to me a very really grounded character. You know what I mean?
Right.
And part of the thing I don't find grounded is like, I hate those fucking, it works in Collateral, but like, when you're just quoting why life doesn't matter and that's why you're a hitman, it's like, no, you're a sociopath.
Right.
And then you read some Nietzsche and use that to justify.
Who's Nietzsche?
It's a poet. Anyway, and then it's like, but this movie makes it look like he's killing because of nihilism. But it's like, no, you're a sociopath. But then he also has a girlfriend that apparently he loves.
Right.
Which they don't establish that relationship at all. John Wick has a much more developed relationship with his fucking dog than he does with his girlfriend. She's not even, you can't even tell if she's hot. She's so beat up in the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like this movie, as enjoyable as I thought it was, actually, it also was like not as good as Gross Point Blank.
No.
It's like Gross Point Blank is this but much better. It's a rom-com fun with the killing and the excitement, which underrated film, if you ask me.
It is. It's a very funny movie. It is really good. It's all like, if you're going to be that broad, like about a hitman.
Which broad? Tilda Swinton? Hi, folks.
If you're going to be this broad about a hitman, then make it fucking funnier, because it looked like it was trying to present some actual psychology, but there's literally none in there. They don't develop the girlfriend at all. You don't really care that he's revenging. It's not like in Gladiator, okay, he doesn't have a developed relationship with his family, but the murder is so horrific and he's stripped of so much status, you feel the anger and the need for revenge viscerally.
Right.
In this, you don't give a shit about what he's doing, and it doesn't even seem that, on the other side, that evil. It's like you feel it's just some weird limbo ground where you don't give a shit.
Why did they take mercy on her?
I think she got away.
She stabbed someone,
She
right?
stabbed someone and then got away.
Which, again, brings us to the most ridiculous part. I'll just jump to
Female
the most
hitman?
insane, not just a female hitman.
An old female.
Not just a female hitman. This is where the movie comes off the rails and is outrageous and feels a bit PC, frankly, that they need to kill this hitman, this lethal, crazy hitman, Michael Fassbender, who's incredible. Can we at least give that?
I love him. I'll watch him in anything. I think
He's
him and
tremendous.
the cinematography kind of made the movie
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's enjoyable. Entertaining. They got to kill him. They know him. They know he's an assassin. He's crazy. He kills. They hire 2 hit people. One of them is War Child from Point Break. He's tattooed. He's got a pit bull. He's like, motherfucker! And you get in a fight scene, and he kicks and punches and strangles, and he smashes. He's a death machine, fucking coked up lunatic. And then they partner him, which, by the way, this should be the film. They partner him with a 6'3", 112-pound, 85-year-old woman. And you're like, who eats dinner like this and talks like this in a British? I'm like, how did they get along? What was that like?
It's like you're booked for a show or something, and then you find out your manager represents like horrible comic, and you're like, what? How do you think we're both like? When he saw her, he must have been like, what the fuck?
And then they're on a flight. I mean, I'm not joking. This should be a film.
Yeah.
Is an old fucking British lady and a crazy maniac fucking psycho
pairing
killer.
this psycho cholo guy with like Helen Mirren, and it's just like, what are they doing?
he lives in Florida, and she lives in Hudson Valley. And also, just
what did she do during that?
Get the fuck out of here.
Punch him over here. Punch her on the head.
It's crazy.
Kick her in the vagina.
And the fact that the woman got away, she's supposed to be the expert. She's literally called the expert or whatever. She should be. If you're gonna have a character who's an assassin, who's an old British lady, she has to be the deadliest, baddest bitch ever. You can't have her like, she got away.
Also,
was she like, don't get back here?
Yeah, where'd she get away to? Also, why are they taking a taxi? Why don't you just get a rental so you don't have to have another person know about it?
They took a yellow cab to and oh, by the way, that guy is the worst actor in any film ever. I said that the cab driver is so bad, and I said that I was like, they should this I can't wait for the scene to end because this is the worst actor. He's like, it was almost like a John Mulaney Law and Order. He's like, oh yeah, sure. Yes, I remember them. I just took them to a routine job. And I couldn't believe how bad he was.
And everything that happens is like predictable. You're never surprised. You're like, all right, he killed him. He did that. He did that. It's what he wanted to do. He did it.
What becomes Kill Bill?
Everything got done, except not even. But then it does things where you're like, even as like a broad thing, he just doesn't kill the guy at the end. What are you fucking with us?
Well, that's the thing.
What are you out of here? Like, what is that? He's
that's
like,
the thing.
All right, you better make sure that guy. Well, you killed the cab driver who legitimately looked like he seemed like he had no idea what was going on,
right.
And then this rich piece of shit.
But I think that's supposed to be the growth.
What?
I think he's supposed to be like, I'm retiring from this life. I'm retiring from this life.
I think he just didn't kill him because he's rich, so he thought people. He says it earlier. He goes, when you kill a rich person, that's when the police actually like.
Well, and then also the guy, he seemed genuinely surprised. Didn't he take him at his word? Isn't that part of it?
Yeah, but even when he said, like the cab driver is like, I had no idea. They just came and I was there and then they came back and that was it. But this guy in the apartment at the end is like, yeah, they said do you want to kill the guy? And I said, yeah. I had no idea what that meant.
Right. But I got to go back to Tilda Swinton for a second here. So that
old British ladies can be hitman just as much as men.
why again? I want to see the scene of them on the flight in the cab, the two of them. Like he's like, we gotta get this motherfucker, and she's like, well, they're saying properly.
How hilarious would it be if they showed the part where they attack the woman? It's actually her doing all the physical fighting, and
right?
he's just off to the side, hit her in the head.
He's got English breakfast and a fucking
hit her in the head, essay, and then she's like, okay, I'm punching.
No, it's crazy.
Well, that's the problem with the movie. None of it feels, and it's hard to say because I know this movie isn't trying to be that realistic, but it doesn't even feel real in a stylized way. Like it doesn't even feel real in a just kind of Tarantino kind of way. It's just like the black nerdy guy is a guy who runs it, and then his secretary organizes the killings, but she still lives in kind of a small house. So I'm like, why don't you just become a teacher? Seems like she would have made the same amount of money.
It feels a bit cliche, a lot of it.
It's just silly. It's just like not, you know what it is? It's not cool or realistic. You've chosen neither.
But the worst part of the movie that feels so cliche, I was talking about before, is that when he goes to see Tilda Swinton, who's just an absurd character, and by the way, one of the great actors of all time, who has such a small, shitty role. I'm like embarrassed for her. I'm upset that they got this great actor to be this shitty bullshit part. But the scene, this feels so samey and done. The person who knows they're facing death and just couldn't be more calm.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh, you got me. I bet to order another round of whiskeys.
Yeah.
And doesn't have a weapon on her. She's the all-time killer. She has a knife and tries to trick him with the old, I sprained my ankle. Like she doesn't have there should be a fight scene there. They can't be because they casted a 75-year-old British woman, of course.
I do wonder. I'm like, why can't she just like run out of there?
That's what we were saying.
Why did she politely just go with him to, oh, go kill me over there? Like, why didn't she just be like, and like throw something at him and run?
Well, that's exactly what Lex said. But also, that's what I would say, too. It's like there should be, I hate that cliche of the assassin person who's like, I've met my match. Let me sit here and drink my whiskey. She should be like, I thought you were dead. And like, why wasn't she worried about him? Shouldn't she have known he was going to show up? She's just eating dinner at an open table.
Oh, I thought I would just beat up and possibly have your girlfriend who was raped. Was she raped? I can't tell.
I don't think she was raped.
I thought I'd just beat up your girlfriend, have her run away, and that would be it. No loose ends there.
And then they just sit there, and she's like, let me get some more chocolate cake, and I come in every night, and I drink whiskey. It just feels like it's been done.
It's a good point. If you're going to kill this hitman who's like, assumed very good, and you just beat up his girlfriend, and she gets away.
You're in your hometown at a restaurant with no gun.
Yeah, it would feel like a little like, oh shit, we got to go in hiding for a while.
Well, that's the thing is, she should in the movie she should at least think he's dead, and that's why she's like surprised to see him or something. But all this has been done.
Why do they have to kill him? I don't even understand that part. Who kills a hitman just because they fucked up? Like, he's a hitman.
Well, that's part of it, I think. That's
to be fair, he's snipering from pretty far away.
Well, that's part of the rule and the ethic and the thing. But again, all these scenes have been done better. I mean, the scene where he misses the guy is just like gross point blank when he's trying to get the poison to come down. He runs down and then shoots him, and then they're like, it's supposed to look like an accident. I mean, every scene in this movie, which I did actually enjoy, is done better in another film. And this whole revenge thing is Kill Bill with none of the fun, the cool, the style, and the character buildup, which is amazing. I mean, like, think about like Michael Madsen's character in Kill Bill, which is so good. And he has the feeling of like, we deserve to die and we deserve to kill her. And he's just, I'll wait for her and I'll be sitting in my rocking chair waiting to fight her.
It's obviously stylized, but the emotions in Kill Bill feel like real and unique. And the world feels real in its own comic book way. This world doesn't feel, it doesn't feel real or fake in a good way. It's just a real middle of the road, not stylized enough, not realistic enough, not interesting enough, not funny enough. It's, you know what it is? It's lukewarm. It's just a lukewarm movie.
But if you've ever taken a lukewarm bath, that's pretty nice. On a Sunday night with low lighting.
Lukewarm?
I got lukewarm's not bad. Is that bad?
Lukewarm's pretty cold, isn't it?
Lukewarm
For
cold?
a bath? Yeah, I think it'd be called warm if it was
You want a
warm.
hot bath, a warm bath.
Yeah, lukewarm? Lukewarm's not a good bath. That's
Okay.
I feel like that's a cold bath.
All right, well, whatever warm. I had my feet up and some nice lighting, and I sat and watched the picture, and it was pretty fun. But I do think the first third is great. In my opinion, it was great. The second third, not so great. And the third, take my own life.
My question is, like, David Fincher, who, like, made Zodiac, made Social Network, he seems to understand how a good script works. I don't understand how he looks at the script and goes, that's my next project. Because think about this. Think about this as a movie.
Well,
like,
this is one of the great skills of filmmaking is choosing projects.
and, like, think about this. Like, this movie worked just because Fincher's amazing, so he made a very bad script. But just think about that as a script, that movie. Like, if I said that to you, you'd be like, you fucking suck. You'd be like, this
No,
sucks.
I'd be blown away if you wrote something
What?
like
I've
that.
I've written way better screenplays.
Okay. Flip that.
But no, that's fucking like I just don't understand why he was so interested. Because the movie achieves, he's not even disturbing. It's like he's not moral, but it's not disturbing.
Well, I was surprised by that. That tonally, that shocked me. When the movie I thought I was watching, I wasn't. When he became kind of a clever, fun, handsome guy with a baseball hat, and we haven't even talked about the most retarded part.
What?
Is the plot device they stole from The Cable Guy, where his aliases are sitcom characters.
Wait, what?
Wait, you missed this?
No, I think I missed this. Are they all sitcom characters?
Yes.
What's the names?
Sam Malone is one of them. That's the most ridiculous one. I mean, maybe that's just the most ridiculous to me, but like one of them was like Richard Cunningham.
Oh, really?
Literally straight from Cable Guy.
Why is he trying to like hide but also make jokes while he's hiding?
Well, that's what I
Is
know.
he doing it for the TSA?
Yeah.
Is he doing it for the FBI or the people who stop him?
One of them was like Fred Flintstone, George Jetson. But that's the crazy. I mean, literally,
What's the joke for?
It's in The Cable Guy, but you're like, that takes you out of it because you're like, so he's this assassin and he's on the run and all this stuff. And all of his aliases are easily like, oh, like the TV show.
Well, I think what you're getting at, which I've been saying, is the movie has a very bad sense of humor.
Right.
A very bad sense of humor. He has like lines about Florida that are like, he's like,
Oh,
Florida,
yeah. I said
the
that too.
Sunshine State. What does he say?
I don't know, but I was like, I don't need to hear, and no offense if you do them or anyone does them, but I'm like, I don't need to hear another Florida sucks joke for a long
I
time.
have a really good one in my special, but
Right.
but mine's good.
Because yours is in there. You're earlier. Now I'm
Okay.
done.
All right,
I've
now you're
officially
done.
run out.
All right.
This was the last one.
Okay.
Florida sucks. Hardy har. Florida's a
Mine
piece
wasn't
of
how
shit.
Florida sucks.
Well,
Mine
whatever.
was just
I'm sure yours is perfect.
Florida has this weird
I
mix.
hate when this happens when you're like, I'll tell you what's hacky. And
Can
then
I tell you the
that's my
joke?
closer.
Let me know.
Please.
Florida has this weird mix between fascism and libertarianism. Everyone's there like, I don't want any gay books in the library, and also that's my alligator, and I can fuck it if I want to. That's
funny.
good, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the last one. That's it. I'm out on Florida jokes. Biden's
I have this
old,
other one about how it
Florida
looks like a
sucks.
dick. What do you think? How do you think?
Florida sucks. Biden's old. We get it. All right.
I know, yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, what was I saying? Yeah, no, it's just a not funny movie, and he's making not funny quips in like a voice. I like Michael Fassbender, but he's not exactly a comedic genius. You know what I mean? He's like
the
very
movie Frank is hilarious. Did you ever watch that movie?
I do. It's really good.
Pretty hilarious.
But it's like he's just not like it's not funny, and it's not disturbing, and you don't feel his anger, and you're all, like it's like either feel his anger or be disturbed by what he's doing. But what's this middle ground bullshit where you're just watching, going like, well, I'm not invested at all, but the lighting's cool.
Well, that's the thing is that I was saying I got distracted by the fake TV names, fucking whatever. Chandler Bing
Homer Simpson
was one of his guys. But could you be more annoying? Rest in peace, R.I.P. Matt Perry. That was devastating.
Was it?
Sad.
I guess. I mean, I feel sad he died, but so many people were like, comedic genius, so witty. It's like, he didn't write those lines. And those lines aren't that witty.
No, the lines aren't great. But
He didn't also
created
write
a
them.
style of spin. I mean, he's the funniest character on that show, a show that I don't particularly love. But
I mean, I've been saying for years, I think you're great. Like, it is a show for people who find Seinfeld too Jewy. It's like Seinfeld's a little too Jewish for them.
But too jokey. I mean, it's just
the same thing.
To mention them in the same breath is really.
I think that's what that was made. I think people like Seinfeld, show about nothing, but they're a little Jewish, too Jewish for me. This will be hotter, younger. We'll have a little Jew in it. There's a little Jew in it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's cheese balls, but I get it. Whatever.
Anyway, R.I.P.
But what the fuck was I saying? Oh, that's what I was shocked by after that initial sequence of him doing yoga and everything. And then when he leaves and he's just kind of like a regular dude, I thought, yeah, there would be more tortury and psycho. He did not. Anton Chigurh. I wanted Anton Chigurh.
Imagine if I told you, like, if I was writing this movie and I pitched it to you, imagine how, like, bad it sounded. I'd be like, all right, there's, like, this hitman. But here's the thing. He's really cool. And he's, like, nihilistic. But then he fucks up a job and they lightly beat up his girlfriend. And you'd immediately be like, what? They don't kill her? No. They just slap her around. She's actually fine. She's going to be fine.
Right.
And he finds out. You didn't even know he had a girlfriend. You didn't know. He acts like he's alone. There's no scenes with a girlfriend,
right.
But he decides.
He's quite domesticated.
He's quite domesticated after talking about how everyone's alone.
Right.
But he decides to go on this rampage to avenge his wife getting punched a couple times, right? And you're like, all right, where's the twist coming? And I'm like, okay, so he finds the first person. He kills them. And you're like, disturbingly? Not really. He just kind of shoots them. And you kind of see it coming.
And then I'm like this, hold on. Can we get the shittiest actor to make it a complete cartoon?
We'll make that guy, yeah.
Okay, thank
and then
you.
he finds the next person involved. And he kills him.
All right, but can he be like a cartoon guy who's clearly not an assassin? He's just a mental patient maniac with a fucking crazy pit bull and every cliche we can have.
And then he finds this black Muslim civil rights leader who's the head of the organization, and he kills him.
Can it be almost Morgan Freeman? Can it be a guy that should be Morgan Freeman,
He doesn't
but not
seem
quite?
like he's like a hitman-y at all, but it's also not entertaining. And then he takes her assistant home. And guess what he does to her?
Rapes her?
Kills her.
Oh.
But it's also not in an interesting way. He just kind of kills her. And then he finally finds one of the women who led the whole thing. And guess what he does to her? He kills her.
After she turned her ankle with a pump.
And you're like, where is this going? And then I go, and then he finally gets to the leader. And he doesn't kill him. And at this point, you'd be like, well, at least just kill him too if you're going to be this. Like,
right.
He's just like fucking with you. And then he goes back to his girlfriend. And that's exactly.
And they're just on lounge chairs.
Like, well, where's the twist or surprise? It's just like he set out a plan. He did it. He went back. Like, I don't even get it.
Yes. Well, like I said, I have nothing more to add than this is lesser Kill Bill and it's lesser Gross Point
He doesn't
Blank.
grow. He's not interesting. It's not funny. It's not realistic. It's not even surreal or interesting on that level. And at the end, he's back.
But if you haven't slept in a while, it's pretty good. I mean, it's fun. It is fun. I had a good time watching this film.
It is. That is the weird thing about it. It's so hollow, but it is like, it's so hollow that it just like slides through you. You just kind of watch it. It's like there's no weight to it.
It's like a lukewarm bath. This
Well,
thing.
you know what it is too. It's like he is great at suspense. That fight scene was pretty awesome.
It is, but it's not as awesome as the fight scene in Kill Bill in the trailer.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good.
It's not unlike all the other fight scenes.
But even that, you're like, why doesn't he like actually get hurt or actually be like tied up or like in Kill Bill, she's buried alive.
Right.
Like, why don't they even have a moment? There's not really that much of him ever really being in that much danger, which is like, the fight scene a little, but even that fight scene, you're like, he's just going to kill him.
Of course, yeah.
It's like, if you're going to be John Wick, just go all the way. This is like the shallowness of an action movie without any of the fun.
Also, what did he give the dog? I thought he poisoned the dog, but then the dog comes and starts chasing him. What happened there?
I don't think he poisoned him. I think he gave him something to go to sleep.
Right, it just didn't work.
I guess it woke up.
That's what I mean. I'm like, he's like, again, an expert assassin, but he doesn't know how to drug a dog.
I know. And then
Mr. Rooney did a better job drugging the dog than the assassin did.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then he throws the Molotov cocktail like sidearm, and it just perfectly goes like 350
By the way,
yards.
I
and
was
blows
thinking
the
that
whole
same
house
thing.
up.
I was like, that's an amazing throw. That house is so
It
far
does
away.
this, and it's like, I mean, you can't even see it. It's like this big on screen, and it goes into the porch. It knocks on the door, unlocks it, opens it, and rolls in.
It's
And the whole
incredible.
house is,
He's so far away, and it's not like he's not like putting it all into the throw.
no, he literally like
It's
does
like a little dainty, and it just flies.
and the whole thing is like.
I'm like, you should be in the army. Like you should. like, he throws it so far, and yeah, it explodes the whole. Like it's insane.
No, it's
I don't like. I'm just
So what did I like so much about this movie?
that your kid was fucking asleep. No, it's just
kid
like
was
the
asleep.
lighting is good. Michael
lighting's
Fassbender is
good.
hot. He looks cool.
Fassbender, he's not hot.
It's like
He's hot, but I
it's
like
like a
it.
Gucci commercial. He just looks cool walking around. You know?
I like Fassbender.
I don't know. The Smiths are good.
The Smiths, yeah. Well, that's what Matt Wayne was like. Ooh, so cool.
That is actually like people
a
were
murderer
like,
who just listens to the
you know,
Smiths.
I'm like people act like something that's been done 100 times is like, dude, like you so cool. He listens to the Smiths while he does his job. I'm like, I feel like I've seen that. Isn't
I
that
don't
like
know.
all of Baby Driver?
But I like the stylization. It does feel a little Baby Driver-ish, which I hated.
By the way, as a hitman, I don't think it's good to be listening to music. I feel like you should know your whereabouts.
Well, it
Shouldn't
didn't
you?
help him. I mean, he was 0 for 1 in his murders.
I think it's extremely unprofessional to listen to music when anyone can come at any time.
Yes.
Like you want to be
Put him in
aware.
a chokehold from behind.
Yeah, you want to be aware of your surroundings. And I don't. Yeah, he missed the fuck. It's not good for your when you're shooting someone. You don't need him going, "I'm alone."
Yeah, it feels a little cliche. I guess I also liked hearing the Smiths, but I did like the way it was stylized, where you can hear him, and then it cuts to not being able to hear, and then back, and kind of breaks
That was
up the
good. I
song,
like
the rhythm
that.
of
That's
the song.
David Fincher.
You kind of want to like sing along, and then it cuts away, and it comes back, and it's fun. I guess it's fun to hear. I like watching Michael Fassbender. I like the stylization. I like the cinematography, and I love the Smiths. So those things packaged together make it fun, and the movie moves well. It's entertaining.
It moves. So you're kind of watching, knowing he has. You know what it has, which I think people get entertained by. It has that thing where he's doing all these things to prepare for something, and you don't really know what he's doing, but you're like, I know it's going to work. Like he's taking a key from somewhere and looking at a gym and getting a gym membership. That'd be funny if it was just for him to work out. It had nothing to do with life. But like, all right, this is go. I don't understand that whole part at all.
It was tough to understand.
I got very confused. He like Amazon's. I didn't even know you could get an Amazon package.
I think that stuff is fun. I like watching. It's like ASMR of somebody. It's like, almost like
It
Phantom
is.
Thread.
The whole
way they're
movie.
doing things.
The whole movie was ASMR. You
Yeah.
could just go to sleep to it. That's probably why your baby slept so well.
Maybe
It's just like music and occasional, pew, pew.
Well, I gave the baby what he gave the dog. So.
But yeah, it's a bafflingly, it's just a surprisingly hollow movie. But I guess
That's what's so weird about being a filmmaker, too. It's like you only get, 10, 15, 20 projects. You're like, you spent 2 years.
I know. And then I wonder, I'm like, he can do whatever he wants, right? Or maybe he can't. I mean, was
Fincher?
this? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
He can't. Like, he chose it. So it wasn't like, this is the only thing they'll let me do, right?
I think he chose it.
I mean, I just don't like the subtlety of Zodiac. Like to have in Zodiac, literally Robert Downey Jr. be like, we actually only have evidence that he killed these people. He might not have killed these people. Literally having in a movie, them lowering the stakes of the movie, and then him looking to Robert Downey Jr. go, you seem almost disappointed. Revealing that like he almost wants him to kill more people so it can have more meaning. The obsession and the almost like complicity in the violence you have,
Yeah.
And to go from that to Hitman being like, it's like what Popeye says. It's like,
Well, Zodiac has so much story. Zodiac has so many things. It's just so brilliant. I mean, it's like a horror movie at times. It's a whodunit. It's a procedural. I mean, the relationship with all these people, and you have Jake Gyllenhaal is incredible. Ruffalo's great. Anthony Edwards is great. Fucking Robert Downey Jr. is amazing.
But then
you have like alcoholism is in there, loneliness and divorce and
right. But then, it's funny. I was talking about it. I was like, God, I start acting like it's such a shock. I'm like, why is Zodiac so much better? And then I think to myself, oh yeah, it's a good screenplay by a screenwriter who wrote a good movie. And we forget how much screenplays play such a big part in this. And we're like,
it's everything.
Yeah, it's everything, and he like it's funny that it took me a second to be so confused because even I get wrapped up in how it's all about the filmmaker. It's not. The screenplay is a huge part.
You have to have a good story.
Yeah, and He picked a really good screenplay, then he picked a really bad screenplay, and it's weird that he can't tell the difference.
Well, that, again, as was said, it's like one of the great skills of both actor and filmmaker to choose good scripts.
Yeah, and it's like, it's just interesting that he can't. I mean, obviously he thought he was going. I think he personally liked, and this is the movie, and this is, I think, why also we watch it easily. It's pretty much voiceover for 70% of the movie. I think he liked that idea of doing a movie that's like almost like 70% just him like voiceover.
Well, also, I guess it's just different strokes for different folks. I think he probably thought it was a great script and story. I don't know.
But why?
But I also think, like, we've talked about in the fucking Social Network, Aaron Sorkin, there's so many bad Aaron Sorkin-y lines in there that he likes.
I know.
And then, I mean, like, as much people love Seven and go crazy for Seven, it's like, what's in the box?
Yeah.
Like, it's a cheese
But I will
dick
say with
script
Social
also.
Network.
So is Fight Club.
Yes, but I will say with Social Network, somehow making it precocious Harvard college kids does make the annoying Sorkin-y dialogue fit a little better, you know?
I guess so.
But it is still annoying. I was actually watching it recently, and it's like that conversation between them two in the very opening is kind of annoying.
It's very annoying and quite inaccurate from what I understand. Although Zodiac has some inaccuracies too.
I actually did. I always used to be, you know, do you remember the Ebert review about JFK where he's like, inaccuracies don't matter, you're making a movie?
Yeah, we've had this argument before.
God damn it. But you don't feel like you get a haircut? And I made that joke. But anyway, the first time I actually questioned that with Social Network, because someone after was like, no, he had a girlfriend that entire time. And I'm like, well, that is the whole thing.
Well, that to me is, I always defend JFK because that is different, because JFK, they are trying to put together theories. That's the idea, and they're all going crazy with all these different theories. Right. JFK is not, to me, presenting it as like, guys, this guy killed Kennedy. I mean, I guess it does to some degree that Tony Jones is involved.
I think there was criticism that some of the facts they supply are not even true.
Right.
But I guess if you're a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, to me, it's just a big, crazy mess. And maybe if I saw it now, I'd feel differently. But like movies like that, I mean, American Gangster is like one of the ones that I really love that movie. And then I found out how inaccurate that movie was. I was very frustrated. Like, that guy never became higher than the Italian mob in New York City. Like, people are like, that's outrageous.
I do think there is.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, that's like, there are limits. And like with Social Network, which I do like, but it's like, if he had a girlfriend that entire time, and you're saying a movie that this real person, they call him Mark Zuckerberg, had this girl like break up with him, and that's the reason he like, I'm like, well, that's kind of like, isn't that just like
defamation?
Yeah, defamation of character. I mean, that's like, you know.
Yeah, well, there's other things like that. I mean, like, and also in American Gangster, Russell Crowe's character didn't even have a kid. Like, he's in like divorce proceeding, or whatever you call it. What's that called when you're trying to get custody?
Custody hearings.
Yeah, like he like there wasn't he didn't even have a child. Where you're like, what the you just threw that in there?
Now there's one. I mean, maybe I've talked about this, but there's one where they go against it, but I think they do it in a very classy way, which is Donnie Brasco. So at the end of Donnie Brasco in real life, have I talked about this?
I don't know.
At the end of Donnie Brasco, the real story, Pacino doesn't get killed. Pacino actually, he's going on his way to get killed, and the FBI grabs him and saves his life. And the person who actually gets killed for there being a rat is the Michael Madsen character.
Oh, interesting.
But in the movie, and I'm pretty sure this is how they do it, it's very smart, they want to suggest Pacino died without saying it. So they have Pacino walk away, put his wallet in the thing, and leave. And then it just cuts to black, and you hear shooting, and it's Johnny Depp at the shooting range or whatever.
Right.
And that suggests to the audience Pacino died.
Right.
But he actually did it. But at least in that, they don't really say he did. They just kind of suggest it, which
right.
I don't know. I think that's a more interesting way to handle it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But like when you're saying like the whole reason Zuckerberg did this, I guess my thing is like, at that point, I don't think you should call it Zuckerberg.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it someone else and just have it be like kind of an umbrella.
That's why
thing.
Citizen Kane is fine. He doesn't, like, everyone attacked him. It's like, he doesn't say it's that person, you know.
William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, he doesn't say it's that person. And like, it's a conglomeration, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, you call him Zuckerberg. I don't know. If I, like, imagine.
And you say Facebook.
Yeah. Imagine if they, like, made a movie about you as Joe List, but you're, like, married to like a black woman and you have 12 like Mexican adopted children. And
yeah.
Like, well, that's not how it happened.
No, it'd be very frustrating. This happens a lot. And another example is the movie Rudy, which I'm sure you've never seen. You hate.
What is
whatever.
Rudy?
You serious?
Just joking.
Wonderful film, but they fucked over this guy, Dan Devine, who was the head coach of Notre Dame. You know this story?
No.
It's brutal. So real Rudy, little guy, he walked on, he wanted to play, yada, yada. And then they have a new coach. And then this guy, Dan Devine, who became the coach, he was like, yeah, we'll play at the end of the season. We'll put him in the game. We'll let him dress, and it'll be great because he's been on the team the whole time, and he's 5'2", and the whole thing. It'll be great. And then they call him and they say, well, we're going to change the story a little bit to kind of make you kind of the foil. And he gave him permission, and he goes, great. Then the movie comes out, and literally he refuses to let Rudy play or dress. And they have a scene, it's a beautiful scene, where every single player comes in and goes, I want him to dress in my place. I'm not going to play unless he plays. And the coach finally relents and is upset and goes, okay, fine, he can play. And then they have another thing where like Rudy's going to get to play. And at the end of the movie, he won't put him in. He refuses to put him in, even though he's a senior. And the whole crowd chants Rudy. The whole stadium's chanting Rudy, which never happened. And then he finally is like, fine, I don't want to get killed, so put him in. But he was like, no, he was always going to play. That was the whole fucking plan. I mean, so he just was like, you just made me look like the biggest piece of shit. And now, it's like Duke lacrosse. Nobody's correcting that other than people watching this podcast or have looked at whatever. And so forever and ever, Dan Devine is a piece of shit who didn't care about stupid Rudy.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that just lying?
Yes.
She's a liar.
She's just a liar. And a bit of a tramp, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's just lying. I get that you can exaggerate some stuff. You know what I mean? Like people cheering Rudy. I guess how you could I can see that in the exaggeration. But once you're making someone lying about something to make them look really bad and using their name, and that's just lying.
Well, the other great story about that, Joe Montana was on that team. I'm sure you never heard of him, but he came out years later because they carry him off the field. That's like the big climax, and it says no Notre Dame player has been carried off the field since Rudy. And then Joe Montana years later was like, yeah, it was a joke. We were kidding. Like he was like the water boy. We thought it would be funny to carry him off.
Yeah, I don't get
it's a bit. It's not like they really were like, we love him. They're like, he's a piece of shit. That would be funny to carry him off the field. It's actually like a hilarious bit to carry the most worthless player off the field. And then in the movie, they're like, oh my God, they loved him.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like if I made a movie about you and it's your name and you're a comedian, but I make you a serial killer in the movie. I mean, and I just say, well, it's based on a true story.
Right.
Is that defamation of character? Or if I make you exactly like you are, but I just make you like racist?
I think you could sue. I appreciate that. I think you could sue, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get the
I think Zuckerberg was very upset with the movie. There might have been even
there was
a couple of lawsuits. Yeah.
Which is funny because that's what the movie's about.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, Zuckerberg's a piece of shit. I guess I don't care that much, but it is. I get that there's sometimes conflicting narratives. I don't get the making up shit. It seems, but people get in trouble with that for now. Obviously, Hassan, and there's that Clint Eastwood movie where they got in trouble. Oh yeah, which I get too. That Clint Eastwood movie about the fat retarded guy who
the bomb.
But they made up that female reporter fucked someone for the story.
Oh, I didn't see that.
That was like a real woman reporter. And in it, she
right. Oh, I remember that.
Fucked someone just to get a news story.
Yes.
And that woman died, and people were like, "She didn't. You just called her a whore."
Right. Yeah, it's weird that. Yeah, I don't know. Just to me, it's like the truth is better.
Make the truth work. Does Zodiac have a lot of inconsistencies? Because it feels
one inconsistency is they weren't. Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr.'s characters weren't friends. They had no relationship.
Yeah, but see, to me, at least it's not like. I get that, and I get changing that, but at least it's not like defamation of character. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I get you do have to change things to make it more. You know what I mean?
Well, and they even didn't depict the murder that had no eyewitnesses. So they tried the best to make it
exactly.
Whatever.
I mean, that movie also deals in that movie actually does something where it actually cinematically makes things that would devalue other movies. It makes that cinematically work. The wrong turns, the loose ends, you know what I mean?
Right.
But one more thing before Ed, have you ever seen Lord of the Rings?
No.
So my girlfriend's a nerd and she really likes it. So I started watching it, right?
We have to edit this?
Why? No,
you said nerd. It's gonna be all right. Every time Raanan fucking says anything about anybody, he's like, "Can we cut this out?"
I think she'll be fine. I hope. I don't know. Maybe she'll be furious. But we're watching it, and you know Lord of the Rings, right?
I mean, I have a general sense. They got to find a ring. Rudy's in it.
Rudy is in it. He's one of the hobbits.
Yes, I have an idea. New Zealand, hobbits,
New Zealand,
Peter Jackson.
But it's this whole
long.
world, and J.R. Tolkien like creates a language. Like it's like a whole fantasy world. And I thought I was watching it and then fell asleep, and I thought I dreamed this, but actually I rewatched it. It's in the scene. There's a scene where Frodo wakes up somewhere, and he goes, "Where am I?" And Gandalf goes, like, he says the place, and then Gandalf goes, "It's 10 a.m. on October 24th." He says our date for that world, and he says 10 a.m.
Right.
Which means...
They have AM, PM.
But not one elf has a watch in it. No one's like checking their time. But according to this, they all have watches that set their time and use the Gregorian calendar, which I don't know if they have federal holidays. I don't know, but like they do all this. So J.R. Tolkien, and I asked someone, it's in the book. J.R. Tolkien created this whole world with a different language, and then when it came to the month, he's like October. It's
No,
like
it wasn't the AM, PM month. Yeah, that is crazy.
Is that crazy? They're like, we'll deliver the ring at 2 p.m. Set your clocks back an hour. It's daylight savings time. That's
Well, you know
insane.
what? That is insane. You know what else? Well, I guess it would just be hard to create a time because you'd have to establish earlier that like scoop-a-loop-a-loop means
Well,
4
he did that
o'clock.
for everything else. There's a whole different language. He could have been like, it's the year of the goblin, fag. I don't know. Like it's like
Whoa.
But like it's just like insane. Did you know this? You look like you might be in a Lord of the Rings.
By the way, isn't it crazy though? This was what blows my mind. Tell him to suck my dick. This blew my mind. So there's two massive, huge, what do you call that when it's a whole franchises?
Yeah.
That are based in mystical mythology.
Talking about Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
One is J.K. Rowling. The other is J.R. Tolkien. That's mind-blowing.
Right, isn't it?
That's great. Hold on. Don't
Okay.
leave. Pause on this.
All right.
That's something. J letter 2 syllable, J letter 2 syllable, all at the same time.
Well, think about this. I want to add to it.
Okay.
Is it J.R. Tolkien or J.R.R. Tolkien? It's 2 R's. Even crazier, George R.R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones. He totally took the R.R. It's J.R.R. Tolkien, I believe.
It's like Francis Scott Keys and F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah, but so George R.R. Martin made his initials the same. He's like, oh yeah, I also have 2 middle names that start with R. And it worked. And everyone just like, they're all like, yeah, J.K. Rowling was like, I'll take the J.
But J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, J.R.R. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. That's crazy.
But I'm also J.R.R. Tolkien, George R.R. Martin.
I don't know this J.R.R. Martin.
It's double R's.
2 R's.
Game of Thrones.
Raanan. 2 R's.
Apparently, to be a fantasy writer, you just have to take the first letter or the middle name from the most successful fantasy writer, and you blow up.
Well, who is
If I'm just like R. Hirschberg, R.K. Hirschberg, or R.R. Hirschberg, I could blow
your
up.
middle name's not a slur, is it?
I could blow up.
Yeah.
It like confuses people. They're like, George R.R. Martin. Well, if he has 2 middle names that start with R,
Well, you should have a
J.R.R.
kid and name him Richard Raanan.
I should do that. Also, what the fuck is the R.R.? What is that? What does he have 2 middle names?
Railroad.
John Ronald Ruel Tolkien.
What the fuck? Who has
Wow.
2 middle names?
So which came first, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings? Because I always confuse
Lord
the
of the
two.
Rings by a long shot.
How old is Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings is like 4,000 years old, and Harry Potter.
Seriously?
No, but it's from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, like Led Zeppelin sing about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
Oh.
Border on the what's it called? What's the line? Led Zeppelin reference. They're a bunch of fucking nerds. They reference.
No kidding.
And they put sharks in women's vaginas, but they're also nerds.
Me Too movement never came from the 70s rock and roll stars. It's so wild. John Bonham must have fucked 58 11-year-old kids.
I know. That's
minimum.
crazy. That's crazy.
We got to wrap up. I got a fucking child. I've been down here for 3 hours, and we've been
Did your heat
podcasting
go
for
off,
an
by
hour.
the way?
Yes, the heat went off.
Isn't that crazy?
And yeah, you know what else is crazy? We didn't have a fucking electric heater for our 2-week-old baby because you fucking took it.
I didn't know your heat was going to go
Our
off.
heat broke. Raanan came and took our space heater, and I had to just bundle my fucking 12-day-old child. I was wrapping scarves around him, literally blowing on him because you had the fucking space heater.
I'm gonna come
Sarah's
in.
like holding a baby. I had a show Sarah's holding a baby. Raanan's like, we need your space heater. And then Kate is behind you going like this. I took a cold shower. And Sarah's like, I don't give a fuck. What the hell do I give a shit?
I come in to bring it back. Sarah's just frozen to the baby like in Titanic at the end.
She's like, Kate's like, I took a chilly shower. I took a lukewarm shower. Sarah's holding a crying baby alone.
Well, you had heat at that point. We didn't. But then
No, we lost heat. It was freezing. No, it was horrible. I mean, it was literally like 58 degrees, but the baby was none.
You're like freezing.
We just had him in two, what do you call it?
Well, I don't. Apparently, I don't know if it's weight or something, but like the heat went off. I was fine. But my skinny girlfriend, it was like the end of Titanic. She was like about to die. She was like freezing to death.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we never needed a space heater. I just wore a blanket.
Yeah.
It was like 54 degrees
outside. My girlfriend
outside.
almost didn't make it. It was like we were on Mount Everest. It was insane. I'm like, don't even notice. I'm like, it's 60 degrees. She's like, Ron, I don't think I'll make it through the night. We're playing Celine Dion. It's like, I don't understand. I guess she's very skinny. I don't get it. I was like totally like toasty.
No, you put a blanket on.
Yeah, I don't know. She was dying. She almost died. It was like, I think it was
Well, I'm glad we could come through. I love that you're like, could you go downstairs? I don't know where it is. Could you go down 3 flights of stairs with the baby? Get the space heater. All right, I gotta wrap up.
All right.
I gotta piss. That's been the show. The Killer, 2 thumbs up.
Well, yeah, that's what we're saying.
What do I got? I don't know. No, I don't have gigs till January 11th through the 13th. Go to Punch Up Live. Sign up for my email list. January 11th to the 13th, Tacoma Comedy Club. Subscribe to the show. Tell some people. Spread the word. We didn't talk politics on this.
Yeah.
We love Trump. We love Hamas. Just go out and
Love
subscribe.
Hamas. I trust everything they say. Why would they lie?
Come out and subscribe. Tell them, where are you going to be?
Why would the group that rapes and murders ever lie? I don't trust Israel, and I trust Hamas. Wait, where am I?
Where are you going to be?
I am going to be. Yeah, follow me on Punch Up Live too. I'm on there too. Sign up for my email. Follow me on Instagram, Raanan Comedy, Raanan Comedy. But also Toronto. Oh, is this coming out tomorrow?
I don't know.
Toronto
well,
this weekend.
ask
I'm
me.
fucking. You know Danny Jollis, very great comic from LA.
No.
We just found out we're at the same club. I'm only doing 2 shows at 9. He's doing 2 shows at 7. They literally just.
Oh, I did that. Is it for Rob Mayu?
It's comedy bar in Toronto.
Okay, yeah.
Why don't they just have one of us do all the shows?
Because they don't think either one of you can sell 4 shows.
But can we, if we're separate, we can sell?
Don't you love when someone does like a, why do they do that?
That
like,
what?
this as well.
No, I thought that, but then I'm like, could we sell better just split up like that?
I don't know.
All right, maybe you're right.
I got a baby.
All right.
I got to piss. I got to go see my. I've been down here since 1 p.m. looking for the space heater.
Come see me in Toronto. I'm at Club Comedy Seattle, December 7th through 9th. And I'm at San Francisco Punchline, a bunch of other shit, Dr. Grins. Go to my link in bio, Raanan Comedy, or go to my website, RaananHirschberg.com. Buy tickets now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cut.
Joe likes Scorsese, and Raanan is Jewy. It's Joe and Raanan talk movies.